Surf today. Get up and brush off the dew on that. Surf today. Surf today. Surf today. Cut it and roll that dew on that. Surf today. Surf today. Surf today. Set up, they about to come through on that. Surf today. Surf today. Surf today. Get up. Surf today. Get up. Surf today. Let's get out the way. Here comes first play. Let's maintain that turf today.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Turf Today, presented by Toro and recorded on the Superintendent Network. My name is Adam Kershane, joined by my co-host Brian Laurent, and we get to chat with Ashley Young today, who is the superintendent down at the fields in Georgia. This is a really cool conversation, and we can't wait to present it to you. But before we get into that, let's go chat with Mr. Laurent.
How are you?
Not too bad. How are things?
Crazy as always, man.
Yeah.
How about you?
Crazy as always. But
Yeah.
That's how we like it, right?
That's right. Absolutely.
That's how things are done.
Still trying to get back to normal after the show and all the things. It never ends. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. How was show week for you?
Show week was outstanding as always. Lots of good times beforehand when the weather was decent, and then obviously we played some golf in the frozen tundra of Orlando.
The cold. Yeah.
The cold, where literally there was ice on bridges, saw people falling all over the place, and
It was not
iced
good.
out bunkers, and they made it work. Not complaining at all. It was just colder than expected. So I'm glad I had the opportunity to come home Saturday night so I could load up on gear for Sunday. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Grab that
The long johns were a bonus, man.
I don't think I'm ever going to take a golf trip without a base layer. At least tuck it into the travel bag. Like I learned that
Yeah.
lesson on that trip. 100%.
Yeah, if it's a winter trip. Now summer's different story. You'll survive.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anytime you're going to go to the show, I mean, you never know. I've heard all the stories from my dad where they played in sleet and snow and you name it. So yeah, some years we get lucky, some years we don't. And if anyone in this industry doesn't understand it, then there's something wrong, because it's just kind of the lifestyle, right? Mother Nature's always in control. She's undefeated.
Yeah. Guys want to get out there and play, and most of the guys did, which was good. Lots of alcohol was flowing. I had a great time. I thought we had some good shots, a couple of good putts. We're never in contention, but I mean, it's always fun to get out and play some golf.
Yeah, I could have done without my dad chirping about my golf swing on Facebook, but aside from that, it was great.
Yeah, first comment right away. Hey, Brian, come on.
Yeah, it's over the top, Brian. Yes, Dad, I'm well aware. The golf swing you taught me, I've been trying to fix it for 40 years.
That's so good.
How was it for you? Did you have a good week?
Yeah, it's always a tiring week, going through everything and just kind of being on all week. But I thought the trade show was fantastic and ran into a number of guests that we've had on the show, or I can kind of consider them friends. You see them, and it's so nice to meet a lot of those people in person. And I know I heard from a few of them that they said that they had people kind of coming up to them and were saying, "Oh, I recognize you from the podcast, and I watched your episode or listened to your episode and relate in some way." So I thought that was really cool that we're able to kind of connect some of these people and have some recognizable faces for people to kind of see and go and talk to while they're at the show. So it was a great week. Very, very busy. Back home now. Picked up the cold that everybody had here.
Nice.
Great.
Nice.
So just fighting that and helping out as much as I can. My wife started a new job, so we're just
Oh boy.
right in it.
Right back into the fire.
Yeah, things have been good, but I've just been consuming Olympics. Like the
Have
Winter
ya?
Olympics up here in Canada, that's our big one, and the fact that the NHL players are in it, and the women, hockey players is a lot more prevalent right now. So it's just it's a fun one up here, and interesting to watch all the different sports. And my son's old enough now to kind of understand a little bit about what's going on and what the different sports are and athletes and things. So it's a fun one. I've been enjoying it. Keeps
Love
me
it.
busy.
The boys have been watching, especially my oldest. He's been watching about every single hockey game that's been on, and He's getting into it. I caught myself, at dinner watching, the different luge events,
Oh yeah.
which like that to me, I mean, how do you seriously get involved in luge? Like at
Great
what
question.
point, at what
Like,
point
who scouts that?
yeah, like where do you even go to do that? Like who's got a luge track set
Yeah,
up?
that's a great question.
I
And we saw the
I don't
two-man
get it.
luge where the one guy lays on top of the other guy,
Yeah.
and I've never seen that before. What is that?
Yeah. I've seen that, and that's the most uncomfortable sport, I think, probably in the Olympics right now. But
Gotta be.
whatever. Like I don't how they stay on that thing. Like
And then you have the
and just
skeleton, right? They go head first.
yeah. Oh yeah, that's nuts. They're going almost 80 miles an hour down a sheet of ice with banks and all sorts of stuff. Like I that's like the one sport that just blows my mind. Like how does someone say, I want to start doing the luge? And
Yeah,
where
I
do
wanna
you
do
even
that.
where do you go? I
People are doing it.
I've
They got
never
programs
seen
out there. It's
yeah,
happening.
in all my travels all around the country, I've never come across a luge track.
Yeah,
I,
it'd have to be
I don't
somewhere
know.
cold. I don't know where the
Yeah.
training center is for all that because they same with
Yeah.
like snowboarding and skiing and all that too.
I've seen some of those, those mountain coasters or whatever, where they kind of look like a luge track, and you go down in like one of the little carts that's got the
Oh, yeah.
handbrakes and stuff on it. So I don't know, maybe they just ice those over in the winter, and that's a luge track.
I think
I don't
I
know.
know out in here in Calgary where they had the 88 Olympics, that's where they do all the training for bobsledding and ski jumping. They have all that kind of stuff set up. So I'm assuming they would
Yeah.
have some sort of luge track or something there. So
Yeah.
maybe
But is there like a luge league for like
Yeah,
kids?
exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
How do they
It's
say
like-
who's the best, you know?
Right. Is it just like we get two random people show up at the luge track, like you're on the team?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
It's
I
a
don't
good
know.
point. Like you have
I don't know.
different sports where, hockey or something where you've been training your whole life at that
Yeah.
sport and you get to, represent your country. And it's like, well, we need a few guys to do the sled ones too. Like who wants to go down the hill?
Yeah. Like even curling, like as foreign as that is to me, like we have a couple curling arenas nearby. So like I can understand that, but I don't know. I guess it's like training as a kid going down a mountain on your bike or something like that. And whoever doesn't fall going 45, 40, 50 miles an hour down the hill on their bike, like come try this out. I don't know. It's
Yeah, no,
blows my mind.
I don't know. I wouldn't do those ones. I would like to try the ski jump though, like that big long
That does look
jump
fun.
where the
Yeah.
guy kind of gets the skis in the air. Yeah, I think that would be
Yeah.
a fun one. But
Yeah, I agree.
lose a limb too, though. You do it the wrong way.
Yeah, you lay in the wrong way. Definitely seen too many people tumbling over in that thing.
Ashley, what's going on, brother?
How's it going?
Not too bad. You made it.
How you doing, Ashley?
Good. How are y'all?
Good. I'm just scoping out your golf course here, and the place looks amazing.
Awesome. Thank you.
And probably one of the coolest logos I've ever seen. I'm gonna have to hit you up, get some gear.
Yeah, rocking the hat right now. It's a nice
Oh,
one.
awesome.
My wife wanted to take this one. I was like, we'll have to wear it on the show first. Hang on. It's a nice logo.
Well, welcome to the show, man.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Of course, no, appreciate you coming on. So we always like to kind of start out the show. We let you just jump right in. We're recording already, so just go ahead and give us a little rundown of who you are here, Ashley.
Wear a lot of hats around here. Right now, I'm an owner operator, superintendent at the Fields Golf Club. Work with my dad. This was my dad's. He's a golf architect. This was his first design, and a few years back, the second owner of it was possibly going to close it, and we always knew it was a good layout, and so we decided to came in and bought it, and been fixing it up over the last 5 years. Got a superintendent here originally. It didn't work out, and I grew up on golf courses, working with dad, mainly building them, and I've been surrounded by a lot of really good superintendents, and so I didn't study turf grass originally, and just said, hey, I can figure this out, and had a lot of good people helping me, and it's been awesome. So day to day, that's what I do. I'm out here at the fields and kind of involved in all aspects of it.
Beautiful. So take us back. Tell us about, kind of growing up. You're your old man, obviously a bigger name in the industry. So just tell us about all that.
Yeah, dad going back, being in the industry, he was, when I was little, he was originally a cabinet maker, built cabinets. So I grew up in the wood shop and seeing him design, build things there. And he always wanted to get in the golf business, was always a scratch golfer, good golfer. And he started selling equipment for the Toro company. So I got to ride around the truck when I was, 10 years old, younger than that. And he called on a lot of golf courses all over South Florida. I mean, places like Seminole. One year, I didn't even know where I was yet. I ranked bunkers at the Masters, like during the tournament with my dad. And
Wow.
84.
Why are all these people out on the golf course, Dad? I don't get it. What's going on?
Like 7 years old, I guess. And the Sand Pro had just came out. And so it was a new piece of equipment, and Toro was there demoing it. So Dad was showing all that stuff they were using it. So I was sitting in his lap on a Sand Pro, riding around some of these places. A lot of them are hand ranked. There wasn't too much Sand Pro usage out there, but I remember being in the maintenance shop at Augusta, just hanging out with the mechanics and the crew and the caddies around, and not really understanding until years later, like where I was. And
No, you were at the golf course.
yeah. And so I got to see a lot of really cool things, young, just riding around on the truck with Dad, making sales calls, and when he'd let me ride. And to that point, like, I kind of fell in love with the agronomy side of golf and building. And golf was stressful because he was a good player. And so a lot of those same trips, I'd get to tag along in the foursome. Every once in a while, I'd be like, hit a ball. But they were such pristine courses, and you're in the clubhouse. It's like, yes, sir, no, sir, take your hat off, shirt tucked in. What's this kid doing here? He's like, mind your P's and Q's. So golf was a lot of anxiety around it for me. So I liked, I'd rather be out on the course, like catching tadpoles in the pond kind of thing. And so from that, he started designing and building. And my first job in the golf industry, I was 15. And he said, well, if you're going to learn it, you're going to start from the ground up. So he put me on a construction crew. My granddad would pick me up. I couldn't drive yet. My granddad would pick me up at like 4:30, 5 a.m. and go out to the golf course. And I think one of the worst jobs I had was they were sprigging fairways, and we had to put down hay on the entire fairways. And so for weeks at a time, we were just walking out there with straw bales, just shaking straw by hand. And you get home at night and there's dust in your nose and all that stuff. And so that was my first job was on a golf course build, and we built that. And I would help him with plan sets as like CAD came along. At first it was all hand drawing. So I would work with some of the landscape architects that worked with him and kind of bringing some of the drawings into scale and just little things like that. And then later on, I decided I was not going to go into the golf business. I wanted to do my own thing. And so I went to school, originally art degree, studied art and philosophy at Berry College, and it's going to be the most educated McDonald's employee ever when I got out kind of thing. Finally, school didn't work out. I got out of school and went to was a big whitewater kayaker.
That's not an easy sport.
Like, your grades are falling, and I was always at the river, and we'd be traveling all over the country. And they were like, "Look, you got to decide either school or that. But if you drop out of school, you got to get a job." Well, my friend was a sales rep for a whitewater kayak manufacturer, and he got me a job in just sweeping shop floors basically. But we had a gas card, and we got free kayaks, and we do clinics and demos, kind of like people do with golf clubs and stuff. And so I became a design assistant there and learned a lot about design from another angle. It was neat to bring a product like from a conception of like a foam block to a actual boat you would see on a floor. And then realized I wasn't going to make any money doing that either. Went back to school, got a finance degree, and Dad needed some help. He was at the time, nobody was building golf courses, like right after the crash, 2007-ish. And he was kind of running golf courses in triage. Because a lot of the golf management companies kind of manage golf courses from, we're going to bring you more rounds. We're going to come manage this place and bring you more rounds, run this place efficiently. Well, the banks were taking over a lot of golf courses, especially in the Southeast. A lot of courses were built not for golf demand, but they were built for real estate developers. So these guys would build a golf course and hand it over to the homeowners association. They didn't know what to do with it, and somebody would come in and try to run it at a profit. And then ultimately a lot of those kind of places closed. As the banks were trying to sell them, we'd go in and run them for them until they could sell the property. And so I realized you need a lot of help, and I was in between things, and that was 15 years ago. And so I accidentally started working with Dad again, and one of those courses that was kind of having some problems was the fields. And we got down here and looked at it, and I was like, I think we can make this thing work. So just kind of accidentally found my way back into it and found my way here through. So it's neat getting to work with your dad every day, but accidentally it gave me a good education, like through all those different things, from turf grass equipment to design build to now operating one and taking over the maintenance. So I got an accidental education on the way up, but definitely not traditional turf grass route.
So have you done anything more formal? Have you gone and gotten some more formalized education, or has it just been a lot of relying on peers and advice from kind of others in the area?
Yeah, it's all been peers, no formal education other than, Superintendent's Association kind of stuff, going to some seminars and whatnot. But a lot of it really is just, as you guys know, I love the podcast, by the way. So I listen to a ton of episodes out there on the course. And it's kind of like medicine, where like you go to med school and these doctors, they might not learn anything about nutrition except for like one semester or something. And everything they learn is by practice. So a lot of the superintendents they see what's happening out there way before it's going to end up in turf grass school. And then warm season versus cool season. I mean, you might go to Penn State and get an awesome degree, and then you get a job in Florida, and it's like, well, okay, I've never seen any of this stuff before. So working with definitely people have helped me along, be it sales reps or other friends that are superintendents. Just through what he did, I had access to some of the best superintendents in the Southeast, so could call them up and say, hey, what are you doing? How do you do this? And so I think that kind of stuff in this industry is just as valuable. I think a superintendent, a lot of it too, is just a leadership position. Really, you could know everything about turf grass, but if you can't get a team doing what you want them to do, it all that knowledge isn't really serving you. So when we're looking for employees, that's usually what I'm looking for. Mostly are people you can teach them a lot of the stuff you need to do, but having that piece of it is huge.
Yeah, I love that. You talk a little bit about that leadership, and a lot of what you've learned probably come from your dad, but now you're kind of running your own thing. How much do you draw upon, what you learned from him growing up compared to kind of what you've sort of created yourself?
Absolutely. A ton of it. Back to the kayaking thing. I mean, he got me into all that actually. And we both were Eagle Scouts. So he got me into Boy Scouts early. And as far as education, like I learned as much from that experience as anything. And so he got me into that, made me stick with it all the way through. And a lot of those skills have translated well to just, getting a team from like, hey, this course was in bad shape to getting everybody on the bus of like seeing the vision of like, this is what it can be. And so definitely draw on a lot of stuff I learned from him and ways he directed me growing up, and gave me the freedom too to just be like, hey, go do your own thing and figure it out and not be so regimented. And then that served me well.
Turf Today is brought to you by Toro. Ready for a utility vehicle that works the way you work? The Toro Workman LTX series delivers power, comfort, and versatility with options to match the way you get the job done. The LTX lets you choose your power source with either a Briggs & Stratton Vanguard gasoline engine or Toro's advanced Hypercell lithium-ion battery system, giving you flexibility whether you need long-lasting electric efficiency or proven gas performance. Choose performance, choose versatility, choose Toro LTX. So
talk about the facility. Talk about the fields. What kind of crew are you working with? What kind of rounds you guys playing down there? What's going on down at the fields?
We do about 30,000 rounds a year right now. We don't really want too many more rounds. We want to just a higher quality round. We We run it basically a very European style model. I think we've messed up a lot of things about golf over here, made a lot of things way too complicated. Did some traveling over there a few times, just going through. Right before I got the place, I'd spent about 3 weeks in Scotland, just touring around and looking at golf courses, not even playing golf, but just looking at architecture and how they maintain places. So much easier. And they look at it over there a lot more as a playing on a surface and not a color. I don't know who said that. Somebody did, but something I've always gone with here and Dad's experience in a lot of the courses he's done are very maintainable. They're mostly upscale daily fee courses. So a lot of the ones that get magazine attention and that we hear about and you see on TV, they have these unrealistic budgets and can deliver unrealistic expectations. But most people's golf is played on their local place that you just have to figure out how to take care of. So we try to really just take care of the playing surfaces. The greens are really good here. Usually in season better than anything around us, including, I don't know if anybody listens to this, they might, but including our local country club, some of the resort courses around. And so we really focus on greens first, turf in the playing areas, and the edges we just kind of let go. We're not worried about flower beds, and you can spend a lot of money on that last 10% of a golf course trying to get it perfect. And so we really try to focus on playability, the player, and not the, get in the weeds about all this other stuff that golf can be about. And that's how we're able to operate the fields, profitably. And so we still run a lot of old equipment, really small crew. I've got 5 to 7 guys, depending on what time of year it is. We've got about 160 acres. Everything's mowed at one height of cut, tee to green. So just like a lot of your courses you see over there. So we're at a 1/2 inch. We mow around the approaches with 5-gang, lightweight fairway mowers that, a lot of clubs would be like, what are you doing with that close to the green? We can mow a lot more turf. It's very wide open, so not a lot of shade issues for our Bermuda greens. We still mow our fairways with gang units from the 1980s. They're Toro pull gangs, 7-gang units that I bought used. We rebuilt them, and they're 30, almost 40-year-old mowers, and we still to this day have 2 of those that we mow all the fairways with. Irrigation, I haven't turned on irrigation in our fairways since I've owned the place.
Wow.
We use wetting agents and whatnot when we catch a rain. We time our apps of, products around rain. We water out of the 160-acre property about 25 acres of grass. So various fish at pump station. We've still got some old brass impact heads out there in places. And we can turn the water on if we need to, but we're not pulling anything from a well or a municipal supply. It's all rainwater collection. So, and I think that's something too, golf gets a bad rap about being ecologically unfriendly. And I don't think the industry does a very good job about telling the other side of that story. I mean, we've got 3 acres of grass out of 160 that ever is even touched by an insecticide. 3 acres of grass that's spoon-fed fertilizer and fungicides and stuff. The approaches, they're maintained pretty tight, and that's probably 10 to 15 acres of grass, as well as the tee boxes, maybe 3. So out of that whole property, there's 3 that are highly managed, 20 that are somewhat highly managed, and the rest of it's all native areas and wildlife and all that stuff. So the water coming out of wells is all rainwater, very little chemicals going out. You got a farm down the road that can, they're spraying glyphosate on soybeans, like it's going out of style. And we might use a product like that once a season. So when you look at it per acre, it's way less environmentally unfriendly than the 20 yards even that are maintained by ChemLawn or whoever around the golf course. They're probably putting way more on that acreage than we are on this entire place. And so I think the industry needs to do better about telling some of those stories. I think people get the wrong idea sometimes.
Well, yeah, 100%. So I'm just curious to know about the whole change. Like, you guys go down there and decide to take over the property. What did you guys change, or is it more just kind of a philosophy? We're going to take care of it in a different way and make it a little bit better.
Yeah, Made some not huge changes. I mean, the bones were still there. Definitely changed the watering regimen, just concentrated on those areas of turf that we really wanted to highly maintain. Put in new irrigation heads around the greens. We had about 33 bunkers when I got here. I took out the last 2 years, 12 bunkers. So we're down close to 20. Bunker maintenance is one of the most costly things on the course. Get the most complaints out of a bunker. You can spend all this time on greens and have perfect greens, and you have an unraked bunker or a wash. We get a lot of thunderstorms in this area of the country. So, I mean, some days you get afternoon rain every day of the week. And if you got high face bunkers, a lot of them, the old owner had an architect come in that was not us and kind of added some high flash bunkering. And we went in and changed a lot of that back to a flat bottom style with grass face so that they were more maintainable. So most of the things we've done have been towards making it maintenance friendly. The greens were in really bad shape. Took a few years to get those back through just rebalancing the soils, aerifications, just getting weed pressure off the golf course. And that's all pretty under control now. A lot of tree work. We took out any shade issues, just opened up view lines. A lot of it was aesthetic. There's some really pretty native areas out here now. A lot of those have been grown up, and it might just be a small tree that's not in play, but even something 10 feet high could break your view line. And to most people, I think golf is an aesthetic, like visceral experience. So a lot of things about a golf course, yes, when you're up close to the green, you're putting, that ball roll and all that stuff's important, but a lot of the other things are 100, they're 100 feet away from you. They're view lines that are 1,000 yards. And so one little tree here or there, or some things just opening up those sight lines and getting that feel of a place where when you step out on it, you don't even. So a lot of things we changed, people didn't know they even realized. And I think that's been a big part of what makes us successful. Just it photographs really well when people step out there. It just feels good. A lot of these open view lines. So that's a lot of what we did. Nothing crazy,
You're making a lot of people jealous when you talk about just the ability to go out and kind of do what you want to do. How nice is it kind of to be the guy calling the shots? And, if you want to remove trees, you really don't have anyone to answer to. You just go do it.
No, and that's definitely been huge. I would have been, if I was a superintendent of a place, I would have been fired from this place a long time ago. And I do think that's something that's a lot of golf dads talked about this. I mean, it really is a mom and pop industry in a lot of places. And if you're just superintendent dealing with a board, I mean, there's a lot of smart guys out there that know things they want to do, but they've got to answer for all those things. They've got other people checking it off. You want to cut this tree down. I mean, if we want to cut a tree down, it's gone tomorrow. It's so you can make a decision faster. Also, I can think in a longer timeline, and we try to explain that to our membership or a golfer when we can. Sometimes we don't, but I'll know 2 years down the road, this is our goal. And so I can think about a year, 2 years, 5 years. And some of those projects take a long time, either agronomically or just monetarily. So you can think in a longer timeline as an owner, superintendent, whereas a guy that's, got to worry about feeding his kids and keeping his job. I mean, you've got to stay within budget on those projects, or he doesn't know if he's going to be there in 2 years, or he's got to make an impact right then when he gets there, and impact that year for that board or that owner. Or you might have an owner that has an idea and then he doesn't really know what he's talking about. He's just seen it somewhere, has something. And so there are a lot of things we're able to do that somebody else couldn't do, even if they wanted to or had the idea, because they've got to think about it in a different way than I'm able to think about it. So that has been a blessing in doing some of the things we do here.
Did it bring your dad to tears when you talked about bringing bunkers out of play? I mean, it's his original design. He put those there, right? So
No,
or is it
he was all
him
about
looking at it from an owner's perspective then too? Like, all right, yeah, get rid of those.
No, he was all about it. And then some things too, he jokes about this course, one of his favorite ones he's done. And he was like, I didn't know what I didn't know. So they were able to just get out there and play around. And then, so he's like, there's some really good things here that 5 years later I might not have done because I was either learned why you shouldn't do them, or so it's kind of a quirky, really fun layout. But and then some of that, the bunkering, like the ball has changed different since this place was built in '89. So we've got the golf ball and equipment. I mean, some of these holes were playing 30 yards shorter off of a tee, and when there's places we can't lengthen the tee, maybe that bunker didn't make sense anymore, or just hey, it was too much to take care of, or it didn't really impact play that much. And there's some places that are even harder on the course. We've got one on number 8 where there was a very large bunker to take care of. It's kind of an uphill par 3. You couldn't really see the bunker from the tee box, and it was almost a bailout that if your ball landed there, you had a shot pretty close to the green. If you're a pretty good golfer, a lot of times they don't mind playing out of the sand. Now it's really tightly mown and it rolls back away. So if you hit that same shot up in there now, you're going to roll back and have a tight chip. It's actually a harder shot without the sand being there. So we can still bring some of the strategy into play, but all of that was done to make it maintenance friendly.
So how important is playing the course, both from a superintendent's aspect and also being an architect as well?
I think, yeah, any superintendent is going to be a better superintendent if they play their course. I don't get to play it as much as I like. By the time I get to hole 3, I'm distracted and pissed off.
Yeah, going back to the shot.
You've already filled up your notepad.
So a lot of my golf, I play other places, but I do get out there and play. And at least being a golfer, you're looking at it from that standpoint. But nothing can replace, walking that hole. Even the difference in walking and riding. You see it from different perspectives, but definitely have to look at it from a golfer's standpoint. And we try to do that. And that's where we tie it back into maintenance. Like, where can we really efficiently use this resource to keep the price point down, but have a good impact on golf and not spread your money too thin trying to do everything. So we try to really look at it from a golfer's perspective and put our resources there on the course.
Nice. It's the best way to do it.
What about your background? Obviously, growing up in the industry, having that eye for architecture, how has that helped you? And even seeing some of these places, be built from the ground up, so you've probably learned a little bit along the way about what happens under the surface. I mean, how much has that really helped you stepping into this role?
It's helped a ton, and we still do design build. Dad's still active in that, so we just built 18 holes down in Vidalia, Georgia. That's opening up this spring. It's a public course and about 10 miles from Ohoopee Match Club.
Oh, nice.
That place. So most of it's in pure sand. So we're still actively doing that, and that's helped us because there's a practice green we just built out here at the Fields. Dad literally called me. He's like, "Hey, we're stuck down here. We can't work for the next 5 days. I've got a shaper free. Do you want to go build that practice green we've been talking about?" So we walked out there with a spray can, sprayed out where it was going to go, ripped up the old turf with our Mini X. Shaper was there the next day, pulled all the old mix out, used existing irrigation, floated it out where it was an old croquet court. And so it was dead flat. We had a lot of disease pressure because it didn't drain well. So we put some movement in it. And then I drove down to Tifton by day 4 or 5 and picked up sprigs at like 6:30 in the morning at the farm. And we were cutting them in by 3:30 that afternoon. And by the end of the week, the green was there. And we had no plans of doing that the week before. That would be crazy at a regular club to do something like that, but we can utilize crews and materials and contacts. So that part of it's helped, just being able to know how to do that when we do have resources or downtime in the winter. We can go knock a bunker out or do this, and we can train our own crew like, hey, this is how you're doing that, or pulled in skilled labor, at our place when we need to. I think too, like you said, long-term, like things like irrigation repairs, just going ahead and spending the money and doing something right, because it's going to be in the ground for the next 20 years, rather than saying, that valve's $200 more expensive. And, somebody just looking at their line item budget or whatnot. When you own the place and you're like, hey, I'm going to be superintendent here for a while and don't have any, you don't want to be digging that up 5 years from now and just to save a couple $100. So, those kind of things, definitely seeing what has happened down the line of places that were built certain ways is definitely helped.
Imagine coming back from a vacation or something like that. You're off for a week and come back and you guys build that whole green in a week.
Yeah, definitely some of the members that hadn't played, wait
a minute.
They came out and they came back and they're like, when did that happen?
That's awesome.
That's wild. So speaking of wild on the golf course, tell us about camping on the golf course.
Yeah, I grew up in a tent for sure. Dad would take me backpacking and all that kind of stuff. And it was another thing too, just being connected to land and how I'd walk routings with Dad, and he'd be walking through a tree line, like with some stakes. And he's like, oh yeah, there's going to be a green over there and whatever. And you're just walking through the woods in a lot of these places. And then it ends up being a course, and kayaking, hiking through the mountains, all that stuff. You're always just looking at land and understanding drainage and runoff and wind and species of plants and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I did a lot of camping. And when I went to Scotland, I just camped. I took a backpack and a tent, stove, and literally Scotland's got some of the most liberal land use laws in the world. So you can pretty much camp wherever over there unless it's blatantly posted not to. And so I would stay in a hotel like every 3 nights and then just camp and looking at courses, and it's a cheap way to do it. So I actually camped on the beach right at Royal Dornoch, and got up that morning and put on a golf shirt and walked from my tent to the pro shop and was like, hey, is there any chance I can get on today? And it was the only course I got to play while I was over there too. And they were like, can you go right now? And so they gave me some rental clubs, and I went out there by myself, and on the back nine, I ended up meeting up with a couple guys and joined them on the way in. And so we've had some tournaments out here too. I've slept on the golf course out here many a times. We've had 2 tournaments where they've done a camp out here where we actually let people, the guys came out, we mowed some little areas out of the natives and let them have little campfires out there. And we had about 80 guys in tents for 2
so
months.
Fun. What a cool idea.
Here and play golf. And it was pretty awesome experience.
No beers, eh? That night.
Yeah, there was no beers consumed. Pretty large mini X assisted bonfires going on. And
oh yeah, nice.
I think we're gonna do a golf camp out here actually this summer for the kids, where we do and call it, like golf camp, but let their parents come out and actually let the kids camp on the golf course and do some lessons with them on basics, and then take them around the agronomy side too, and let them, show them the tractors and show them how we, what we do and all that, and kind of give them like a 2-day, 1-night little golf camp thing where they get to.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
And do all that. So we're putting that together for the summer when they get out of school. I think that'll be a lot of fun.
Set up a little relay race or something like that with the golf carts.
Yeah.
You guys got
nothing could go wrong. That's awesome. So Southwest Georgia, you guys pretty much open year round then, or what's your season like?
Yeah, we close Thanksgiving and Christmas, and then other than that, it's just weather related. So
yeah,
the weather is wild here. We just a week and a half ago, just while I was at the PGA show, it snowed here. It got down to last week. It was down to like 14, which is really cold for us. We've got to cover the greens. And then today it's 65. I mean, last week it got up to 70. So we literally went from the greens being covered to 70 degrees in 48 hours. So when it's good weather, we're playing. I mean, the parking lot's full today out there, and yeah,
nice.
A half ago we were covered up and no play and not getting above freezing. So if it's pretty, we're playing. I mean, the main season's March to October, and then but we've got some pretty hardcore golfers that will still get out there when it's nice. So yeah, it's a year-round thing.
We are back with another Ask the Agronomist segment featuring PhD agronomist Tony Goldsby from the Andersons. Our question today comes in from an anonymous, and I will say maybe younger person in the industry. don't be afraid to put your name on this stuff. It's always good to ask questions, and this is a question I get asked all the time. So let's jump into this one here, Tony. Can Tony explain why some golf courses use covers on their greens and some don't?
Yeah, thanks again, as always, Adam, for having me on the show. And again, as Adam mentioned, right, thanks again for the great questions. Most likely, if you're thinking it, good chance somebody else has already had a question about it and just didn't have the gumption to, write in or call in. So don't be ashamed at all. Be proud of those questions. It's a great question, actually. And I think a lot of people, obviously, this time of year, you're hearing a lot about winter events on the news, right? And maybe even seeing on some of the different social channels, different superintendents that are using covers out there and kind of understanding, what's the story. And I think, obviously, us putting a jacket on and making ourselves a little bit warm, they might initially go to thinking about, keeping the greens warm or the temperature that they have the impact on. But really, that's only part of the story, and really the primary reason for the covers themselves is actually to prevent winter desiccation. So if you think about, even when it's sunny outside and all the wind and things that are going on when the ground is, frozen, and that turf, leaf is still losing some amount of moisture, right? And that root system might not be able to replace it at the same time. You almost run into what we call winter desiccation, right? Which is a damage from that moisture loss through wind and cold events. So that cover really acts like a nice little mini moisture blanket, right? And kind of reduces that dehydration stress. And again, it does, moderate those temperature swings just to help, the freeze thaw cycles not be as big of a deal. But really just keeping that desiccation from occurring is the biggest point. And another factor, obviously, Adam, in you guys' neck of the woods, right? Anywhere where you potentially are going to have 100+ days of snow cover that you're going to have to contend with. Different varieties of snow mold are going to be a concern. So that's another reason why, people will sometimes opt for covers to help prevent that, ice encasement that you'll see during that period of time. That's going to help that disease occur and then create a little bit more of a micro environment. And, ultimately at the end of the day, I think if the question is why do some use it and some don't, it probably really comes down to kind of 4 factors. And that's, what the climate they're in, what area of the world they're managing the grass in, what is the turf species, right? That's going to have a big factor. Budget, and then really labor, right? So a lot of these tarps, as you guys can imagine, are really big. It takes a lot to go get them out, secure them down. So anywhere where it's going to be milder or you don't need them or you don't have the resources, right, you're probably going to be putting those elsewhere on your course and not necessarily into covers. But, where you have high value greens in super high, harsh environments, they don't guarantee perfection, but they are cheap insurance, right? Well, not cheap, but insurance, if you will, that could potentially significantly reduce that potential for winter desiccation, which again, if you're on a high value area, it's just not acceptable. It's going to be something that's going to give you a little bit of a peace of mind. But again, great question. Kind of a lot of different functions that they can perform, but ultimately cutting down on winter desiccation is probably what they do best.
Yeah, 100%. It's a great question. And I think it has a lot to do with your location, your species, everything you have going on. I've seen low budget courses where they just spray and vertidrain and let nature take its course. And then other courses where maybe you have, POA greens and you really have to lay down straw over your tarps and ice shields and, really make sure you have proper drainage and everything for the spring. But yeah, up here when it gets really cold and things, we actually do find some of our bent grass areas are actually covered in the spring and protected in the spring because of all the wind and everything. They're just, they're coming up trying to push all their proteins up, and it's nice and early in the year, and all of a sudden you get a windy night where it's really cold and everything, and you just ruin your plants. And so that was a big one for us. But it really does depend on your course, where you're at, and everything you have going on. So appreciate the answer there, Tony. That's a really good one. Keep the questions coming, everybody. This wraps up another Ask the Agronomist segment featuring Dr. Tony Goldsby from the Andersons. So tell us a little bit about maybe the future. Do you want to kind of be at the one spot for a long time?
Yeah, we've got some plan. I don't have any intentions of selling the fields. We've been approached by some people that made you think like, well, that might be
that's a lot of money.
What would I go do? I love what I do every day. We want to keep the fields public. Don't in any way want to become semi-private or whatnot. We kind of want to use it as a model, if anything, to show that public golf can work. Obviously, we want to make a profit, but we want to keep it reasonably priced. Just before I jumped on this podcast, like literally 2 minutes before, I was out there with our architect, a friend of ours that done work at other courses for us, a building architect for 30 years. we're laying out some lodging. So we're looking at putting in a small dormitory for the common area, but just single rooms, really simple, to where we get a lot of people traveling in to play us now, which is humbling. It's really
Nice.
cool, but
Yeah.
we kind of try to keep the vibe really laid back here. There's some things you can do here. There's no dress code. It's just more like respect the game. Literally on the card, it's just like, just be cool, respect the game, respect the staff, respect people out there. But you can be an asshole and wear a Peter Millar shirt, and you can be somebody totally cool and respect the place, be out there in a t-shirt. So I'd rather have the guy out there in a t-shirt. So it's on some of the culture we built. We get some really cool events. Fried Egg's been out here. No Laying Up has had quite a few events out here, and they all like it because it's their place for the day, and we make everybody feel at home. So that's why we're looking at some lodging, just so we can keep people coming in. And I think a lot of these destination courses that are being built, they're awesome. But any of the new projects being built in the country right now, it's either a muni that's funded by a government, or it's some $50 million plus crazy project. Just down the road from us is the Fall Line Club that you probably heard about. And I mean, they've spent, I won't say it on here, but I know what they've spent. It was crazy.
A
Beautiful.
lot of money.
Like, amazing property, but nobody has access to a lot of the new places getting built. It's hard for a lot of people to say, hey, I'm going to drop $6,000 to go to Bandon if I can even get a tee time. So we're about an hour outside of Atlanta, and we kind of have an idea of making it where, hey, it's a public destination where you can come here for the weekend, spend less than $1,000, play a lot of golf, have some really good food. You probably have 80% of that experience. You still got some good views. You're hanging out, drinking beers with your buddy by the fire, playing some night golf. We've got a full TrackMan range, all that kind of stuff. And you could still have a lot of that same experience, but you can be back home on Sunday afternoon and get out of Atlanta. So we've got some ideas to maybe expand that product, and that would involve buying some other public courses, because you can't go build public golf right now with interest rates. A brand new irrigation system these days, you're talking $2 million just for the irrigation.
Oof.
By the time you buy land, everything else, you're sitting at $10-12 million. You've got to have $100 greens fee plus just to make that cash flow. All of a sudden, that's not accessible even for a lot of people coming in and playing. Whereas you can go get a public place like the Fields and fix it up, kind of like remodeling a house. And if it's in the right area, I think we're proving that if you run it, a certain way. I mean, this place was about out of business, and now we're doing great and getting some street cred, and a lot of that's how it's run. So I think there is some future for public golf that is not, Beth Page and Pebble Beach, like, that's not public golf at the end of the day. Still got to have those places where you can go play for $60-70 and have a great time. So, but yeah, to answer your question, the Fields, we want to keep evolving it, but I don't see us selling it. Maybe we could take that model and do it some other places, but I like what I do. I probably will take over some of Dad's design business one day. A lot of that, again, is remodeling a lot of existing clubs and bringing them up to speed. That kind of thing, because it's hard to just go build a new public place right now. But there's a lot of good ones out there that if you can just get the right model behind it, it can work.
So you talk about that model, and that model that leads to success. So kind of looking back at when you first took over at the Fields, and maybe some of the things you're implementing at other places you're going in, whether it's consulting or designing or whatever it may be, what is that process? What are the things you're looking for that lead to success? I mean, is it primarily efficiency? What are the things that you're looking at to build upon for long-term success?
I think efficiency is a huge part of it. I mean, you've only got so many resources. There's amazing superintendents out there, but to do some of the things, I mean, I know we were all just down at the turf grass show. I mean, there's some amazing stuff coming out. I mean, some of these mowers that are automated, and I do think some of that stuff's coming, but like, I'm not buying $170,000 fairway unit, and much less three of them. You know, it's like that's just so. Where you use your resources is definitely huge, and that comes back to a master plan of the golf course of just like what are its issues and problems, and what is the long term goal to attack these. A master plan from like what do you want to be from a culture standpoint. And I think culture is a huge thing. I mean, golf is changing, and you got to embrace some of that. And every course kind of has its space. There's a place for the country club. There's a place for the resort. There's a place for your high-end public. But there's also a place for, you know, people just going out and having fun. And I think you've got to give them good greens and a value. And you might be a value at $100. You might be a value at $40. And you've just got to know what you're on. And if you're that $40 place, like still give them good greens and communicate why the rest of it's not there. And that's okay. You can have that $40 place to go play. But if you're that $40 place and you're trying to charge 75 just because it's the market right now, like I think those are the people that are going to get in trouble when the ball drops at some point. So I think just being honest about what you're about and being efficient and creating a good culture, you can be successful in public golf.
That's I always say, if I can get a tee in the ground and the greens are, you know, pretty good, that makes for a happy day. You just mentioned when the bottom falls out. Obviously, golf is just on this incredible boom right now. What are you seeing? What are you thinking? I mean, unfortunately, there's going to be a time down the road where it hits tough times again. But you know, what's your projection? What are you thinking as far as the longevity and how long this wave continues to? How long can we ride this wave?
I think a lot of the new golfers that have come in are here to stay. I think the culture is definitely changing long term. As far as the boom, they're already seeing it flatten out a little bit as far as rounds played, but people are sticking around. I think it could stay flat for a while. I don't know there necessarily be a decline, but if something does happen with the economy, I think that's another place I think public golf could actually benefit. Like a place like the Fields, I don't worry about it too much because there might be guys that are traveling to go play places because they can afford it right now, or they're a member at a club, but they're barely making sense out of it. And then all of a sudden you got to pull back a little bit. They still want to get their fix. Maybe they drop that country club membership, or maybe they don't take that trip, but they're still going to go somewhere and play that round of golf. So I think you got to take care of, and then there's going to be some places on the cusp that all of a sudden the money's not coming in like it was. And maybe they're running that, you know, pretty close to red, and they start having issues and turf quality goes down, or, you know, morale or whatnot. And those places fall off the back. And if you're able to still, you know, put out a good product, those people are going to move over to those courses. So I think if you're running efficiently and doing a good job, there's going to be golfers in space for a long time. Also, the population's growing, golfers are growing. Like I said, it's really hard right now to make it work financially to just go build new public courses. So we're going to need more courses to come online. So I think that's space for some of these that are kind of in a spot where they're not sure what they are, to some opportunity to kind of fix those places up. But yeah, it can't stay like this forever. So I think if people are being smart right now, but there's probably some operations out there that are just running like it's going to stay like this, and they're not being efficient. So, but I don't know. I wish I knew exactly what was going to happen.
It'd be nice to have that magic eight ball on. Yeah.
Hard to say.
Yeah.
Well, moving to the agronomy side, we just mentioned going to the GCSAA show. We got to chat there, which was awesome. Good to meet in person. And I just love kind of a two-parter for you. I'd love for you to talk about going to the show and why it's kind of beneficial. And then a little bit of advice maybe for some younger people in the industry coming up and, you know, working their way, trying to find kind of, you know, their fit in the industry.
I go to the show for exactly that reason. To me, it's all about people. Nowadays with technology, the internet, sales reps, like most people in the industry, probably your Toro guys come and done a demo already with that new piece of equipment. You've probably seen it on their site. You've studied a lot of the fertilizer technology that's out there. And so as far as a product standpoint, I don't know the show is as important as it used to be, like in the 80s so now I see it more as like, that's a chance when you got superintendents from all over the country. You've got manufacturers that you might have talked to on the phone and never met in person. And so you can just kind of build or strengthen those relationships. I was just sitting there having dinner and went to sit at the bar. It was crowded. And then I was with my friend and there were 2 chairs and sit down. This guy goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. My wife's coming and his chair's taken." And I look over at him and it was a guy I worked with in Costa Rica 15 years ago. And I hadn't seen him in 15 years. And like,
Love that.
we exchanged numbers again and caught up. And like, if I hadn't have been at the show, like I might not have reconnected with Jay and I might not have met you. So to me, that's why I go to the show. And I think that leads into your next question of like, what can younger people do? I think golf is a very people oriented business. And so go there and meet as many people as you can. You can get in the show as a student, I think for free. If you're registered correctly, go out to your local course and just talk to people, meet the mechanics, the supers. Most superintendents I know are happy to go show you around their place, talk to you, and because you never know who's going to help you out. And 2, I mean, I'm fortunate that I know I'm going to be here a while unless, something unfortunate happens, but I don't have to think about it that way. But you don't know where your next job is going to be or where that super's next job. So you might meet somebody there that's in California or Canada or whatever, and all of a sudden they take a job down in Florida, and that's where your network is. And so people are, moving around a lot in this business. It's not like you can just go down the street. So you're going to travel if you're making this a career path. So I think meeting all those people, same thing, your sales reps, a lot of your best sales reps they stole them from a superintendent that knows his fertilizer. And now he's hawking fertilizer or mowers or whatnot. And so you don't know when you're going to meet those people again. So if you're young, I would just talk to as many people as you can and make those connections.
Been around this game nearly your entire life. I'd love to just hear you reflect on the game of golf, what it's done for you personally, what it means to you personally.
It's a hard one, an easy one to answer. I mean, it's everything. I mean, I can't, the time, like when I was younger, I didn't get to see my dad a ton because he was traveling salesman. He loved golf. I was exposed to it early. And again, I didn't play very much of it, but golf has always meant a lot to me. Now getting to work with him, so the game has brought us together. Some of the best times I played, been playing with him, getting to just meet all the people I've met, even at the golf course. I mean, the friendships. Sorry about that.
You're fine. I want to know what the ESPN update was from earlier. But,
yeah. Just friends I've made here. I mean, golf is I cannot imagine my life extracting golf from it because it's been such a huge part of our family and my career now and everything. So I can't imagine what it'd be like without it.
It's a great response. And I got to say, you're pretty good at this. I don't know if you've done some interviews before, but you've made this very easy on us. We won't take up too much more of your time. We do have to ask you about the story, which involves your sister and the hospital when you were a little younger.
Oh, yeah. I was here at the fields. So I was mowing greens one morning. I still mow greens. Try to in season at least one day a week. And it was a few years ago. And I was on, I think, 11 green. And there's a pond right beside it. And I'm always telling the guys, look, especially if they're new operators, just mow this one this direction. Don't worry about changing directions here because you'll get too close to the edge of this pond. And I was like, well, I'm mowing today. I'm going to mow it this other direction and try to, switch it up for them. And I on the phone with my sister, which I tell my guys, do not be on your phone while you're on the mower. And here I am. And I go to make a turn close to the pond. And next thing I know, I'm going backwards. And she's like, what just happened? And I'm like, because I probably said some explicitives and literally put a old Jacobson Greens King right in the pond. And I was about waist deep. And it's like, all right. And so went and got the tractor and ran a chain and a strap out to it. And one of my guys was with me and I was directing him on the tractor, and I walked back to the towards the tractor. And I guess the guy that was in the fairway thought I was clearing the green. I assumed that seeing a mower in the pond and this huge strap across green meant give me a second. And so as I'm walking back to the tractor, I just all of a sudden I'm on the ground and I got cracked in the head. I thought that his foot had slipped off the clutch and the chain broke and hit me. And so when I came to, he's standing there. He's like, what happened? And then I took my hat off. And when I did, blood just went everywhere. And so I was like, I think I'm going to need some stitches. So we jump in the truck. This dude comes over totally freaked out that he hit me in the head. I'm like, man, it's all good, whatever. And I happen to look down. This comes into play in a second. And I see his golf ball under the tractor, and I grab it and stick it in my pocket. And I was like, I'm keeping this.
It's a souvenir.
And so I didn't know who he was. And so we run to urgent care, and they had to put some staples in my head. And so they're like, can you put your feet up, lay back? So I had on big, tall boots, and I'd been standing in the pond, and this all happened so fast. And think about it. So they kicked my feet up, all this water like comes out of my boots onto the floor of the urgent care. And I had to explain what that was about to him, and then drive back to the golf course, get back on the mower, finish mowing greens. And then a few weeks later, this guy comes in. I was standing behind the counter. He's like, hey man, I just want to say, I'm so sorry again. I was like, what are you talking? He's like, I'm the guy that hit you in the head with the golf ball. And I was like, hold on a second. And I went and ran and got the golf ball, and I made him sign it. And we dated it. So I've got it sitting in here somewhere, but
Nice.
that was a long day mowing greens.
Yeah. What were the lines like after that?
I don't remember. I don't even know if I finished mowing 11, honestly. I probably just moved on to the next one.
Staples and a concussion. That's a great day.
That's an all-timer. Wow.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Well, before we let you go, we always like to give our guests a little time at the end to talk about anything you want to talk about. If there's anything we haven't really covered today or just something that's on your mind, we'd love to let you at it, man.
No, not really. I think we covered a lot. I want to appreciate you guys for having us on. I mean, huge fan of the podcast. I'm seriously not just saying that. I've listened to it a ton out there. That's usually what I do when I'm out on the course. So throw on something, and I've listened to a lot of great things on y'all. So appreciate what you guys are doing. And it's always fun to meet new people. But yeah, if anybody's ever in the area, we're hour away from Atlanta, come check us out. It's totally public, and we appreciate it. These things do help us out. I think social media has been awesome for golf in a lot of ways, connecting people like this, and it's been good for our business too, from just a advertising standpoint. So, we appreciate it. And I think too, like you're talking about kids earlier, like the tools that people have access to, like when I was coming up, I mean, you can jump online now and watch, some amazing mechanics like grinding reels and hear their entire, like the education you can just get from YouTube or podcast as far as turf grass goes. Like that didn't exist even 10 years ago. So I think things like this are awesome, because there's so many tools out there outside of turf grass school that if somebody's serious about it, they could get into it. And a lot of the people we hire are put in places, or some of the best superintendents I've seen, or mechanics, or even golf operators, were not necessarily PGA pros. They might have been hotel managers. They might not be turf grass people. We've had a few people that just came out of the military and were really good leaders, and they could learn what they needed to do. So I don't think it's always that path of just, you've got to go to turf grass school. There's so many tools out there, and this is one of them, podcast, YouTube, all those things. There's a ton of information out there for people interested in this kind of stuff.
Higher attitude, train the rest, right?
That's right.
Very well said. And I don't know, I feel like the fields would be an awesome spot to have a Turf Today tournament, especially if you get a little dorm set up for some people. It'd be a fun
Yeah.
destination and yeah, no
We love
pressure,
it.
right? Just a bunch of fun.
Dude, I'm
Yeah.
scrolling through right now. I've been like this entire interview. I'm like checking everything out going through your Instagram and checking out the map. Like I'll be down there in a couple weeks for sure.
Booking
Place
tickets.
is
Right
awesome.
now, we've got a bedroom upstairs, and it's kind of, if you know kind of thing. But we've got a little dorm in the clubhouse, so it's got a couple twin beds and a king size, even a little sauna and a club shower up there, and looks out
Oh,
over the
man.
course. So when we have friends in town and stuff, they crash up there, and so yeah, man. If y'all are ever flying,
Sign me up.
If you're ever flying into Atlanta for any reason, we're 55 minutes away. Just come stay down here for the night, and we'll show you around.
That sounds
Nice.
perfect. Might have to
I'll
put that
even
one
do
on
the
list.
laundry for you. Like I'll rip the sheets off the bed and go to the local laundromat. We'll knock that out, dude. No problem.
Get down,
Yeah,
start cooking
place
breakfast
looks-
for everybody.
Yeah. The place looks awesome. Ashley, looks fantastic. So I'm stoked that you came on today. It's always fun. That's the best thing about this for us is just the people we get to meet and new places that we get introduced to. And I'm excited to make a visit down there sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love it. Love it.
Yeah, it'd be
Thank
cool
you
to
all
meet
for calling
meet
in.
your old man as well.
Yeah, he's his office is right down in the parking lot. I guess that's one last thing I'll say. That was cool. We got some cool history here. You ever heard of Tadmore Putters?
Yeah.
So pretty famous putter maker. Now he does a lot of hickories, but for 7 years his shop was here at the field. So there's still a Tadmore sign.
No way.
Dad's office is in Tadmore's old shop down there. So it's a cool space. But yeah, we'll get to meet Dad. He's a trip. He is. You will never have to guess at what he's thinking. It's going to come out.
That's awesome.
I love it. Purely unfiltered. I love it.
All right, brother. Well, we appreciate the time today, and this is going to be coming out Tuesday, so we're looking forward to it.
Awesome. Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Great stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks,
and-
Ashley.
Take
Thank
care,
you.
man.
Hey, what's up? This is Michael with Standard Golf Company, and this year is a special one for us. We are proud to be celebrating 100 years in the golf industry, supporting superintendents, pro shops, and GMs alike with products they rely on every single day. From flags to flag sticks, cups, tee markers, ball washers, hole cutters, maintenance tools, and everything in between, Standard Golf has been built on quality, innovation, and relationships for a full century now. We have been committed to helping golf courses look a little bit better, play a little bit better, and operate a little bit more efficiently. From all of us at Standard Golf, we want to say thank you for supporting us along with the Turf Today podcast. Have a great one.
What an interesting property. It sounds like a really cool place.
Yeah, it does. Like I said, I mean, I've been looking at it here, just kind of back and forth, listening to him talk and everything, and pulled up his Instagram and the website. Like I said, that logo is legit. That is a cool logo. Definitely gonna go get a hoodie.
Yeah. Well, and it's 1989, which is the year I was born. I'm dating myself a little bit for the students here, but they've got hoodies that say 89, and I'm like, man, you got to get me one of those hoodies with the 89. So
Yeah.
yeah, that'd be a cool trip. I have an uncle that lives in Marietta, which isn't far from Atlanta, so we could definitely make that trip down there.
Yeah. No, it's a very cool looking place.
It's always great getting to talk to people. You know, we do have a lot of guys that kind of run along the same sort of path. If, you know, they were into something before and then they got into this, they fell in love with it. Now they have their own course, but everybody comes from different backgrounds, and he already kind of had that love for golf and the golf course and the appreciation for the golf course. So he must enjoy his job so much more just because he has that background. It's certainly has tough days, but getting to be involved in the whole golf course itself, I think is wonderful. And, you know, he's doing it right.
There's so much stress being an owner operator. There's no question about that. But, you know, ultimately, if you have the passion for it, the headaches are all worth it. You know, again, like we were talking about with him, he doesn't really have anyone else that he needs to go to. If he wants to get something done, he just gets it done.
He's the guy.
Yeah, he's the guy. He's the guy. So no, it's very refreshing. And like you said, too, just the different paths that people take. It's so funny. I literally had a phone call yesterday. Someone reached out and like, hey, do you mind if we chat for a little bit? Think, getting in this career, when I get your advice. And it's so personal the way that you get into this industry, and it's so based on what's right for that individual. Like, yeah, sure. You want to get into this business right out of school, right out of high school, go down, you can do 2-year, 4-year, whatever. But there are just so many different ways, if you're an older adult making this career change. I mean, there's a million certificate programs, online programs, 2-year programs, 4-year programs, options to get into this and study while you're, in working full time at a golf course. And, like I tell them, obviously the education is important. I don't think there's any downplaying that. As you want to advance within the career, there's, some form of education is certainly required, but surrounding yourself with good people in this industry, learning from good people, learning from people that do it the right way, that invest in educating their crew, giving them opportunities, help them advance. Those are the things that you need to do. That's what you need to do to advance in this industry, is surround yourself with good people, not just, from both sides. As a director, as a superintendent, bringing good people on is going to help you advance. And as someone that's getting into this industry, looking to grow and become a superintendent someday, surrounding yourself, working for the right people, I think it's the most important thing in this industry. No, hands down.
Yeah, and you can go a long way in even 5 years, getting a little education, going to some of these shows, meeting some people, getting a couple opportunities. You can really put yourself in a good spot. And probably being a little older, like Ashley was saying, having that forced education of learning how to build things or solve problems or manage, that's all stuff that's really going to help you. So just saying, well, I had a career and I was an assistant manager at a retail store or something like that. Well, there's a lot there that you learned that's going to help you deal with stress on the golf course and dealing with members and all the different things that go into it. So there's a lot of stuff that you can learn to move into this career. And like I said, you could do it pretty quickly and not have to feel like, you have to be at the top. You don't have to be at the best golf courses or make the most money. You can have a goal at, I want to work at my local muni, or I want to work at the local country club as an assistant. You can go after that kind of stuff and make it happen, and lean on the people around you and the people that go to these shows and stuff like that to really make it happen. And there was a few people I had reach out to me that, was kind of negative about the show. It was like, why would I go to that? Why would I waste my time? And I think Ashley nailed it here. You don't have to be at the high end of the industry. You can be brand new to the industry and only working part-time and have a passion for it or have an interest in it, and still find your way to a show like that to be able to, advance your career or learn more or meet more people. So it should be looked at as something that is for everybody, because our industry is for everybody. There is a home here for everybody.
It's funny, and Ashley kind of hit it on the head earlier too with technology, and I'll preach this till I'm blue in the face. With technology, yes, it's so easy to research, see all the different advancements, all the things that are open to you, but there is zero replacement for in-person contact. There's just no replacement. Getting to know the person that's down the street. If all of a sudden you've got an air fryer that breaks down and you're in the middle of it and you're under pressure to get something done, if you don't have a personal relationship with that guy down the street, like, he's not going to loan you a $50,000 piece of equipment so you can go and knock it out. But, if it's a relationship you've established in person, you know each other well, there's the back and forth more than just trading DMs on X or Instagram or whatever it may be. Like, you call that person up, they're going to answer your call and they're going to bring it over for you, and maybe even send a couple guys to go help you make sure you get it done in time. Like, it's just, that's how this business works. And if you're, I'm an introvert. I get it. I'd rather be sitting at home watching TV with the family or whatever than, out and about. But you know what? It's just one of the things that you do. You got to put yourself out there. You got to build those relationships, because it's everything.
It's huge. Yeah, 100%.
It's everything.
We always talk about it, right? I even love, you talk to somebody online for a year or two and then you finally meet them in person. it feels like you guys are friends. It feels like you've been doing this a
Yeah.
long time, and then being able to make that physical connection is so cool. So I
Yeah.
encourage people. It's nice that this day and age we have social media where you can kind of make 10, 15, 20, 100 friends online and then be able to go to something where a bunch of them are going to be at and be able to connect with
Yeah.
those people. It's so
Yeah.
cool. So
Yeah,
cool.
and there's so many opportunities. Again, the national show, you obviously get to see people from all over the world. But I mean, your local association events, make sure you're going to those. Whatever it is, there's so many opportunities to get out there, and whether it's career advancement or just having people that you can call when you are seeing something on the course and you need some advice. I mean, that's the people in your life, the people you surround yourself with, make all the difference in the world in this industry, and just make this industry a lot easier to have success in when you've got those relationships.
Yep. Yeah, and people want to help, which is nice, right?
Yep.
We're in an industry where
100%.
people want to help, so reach out and start having those conversations.
100%, dude. I'm so I can't get over this logo.
Yeah, it's a nice one.
I can't get over this logo. I've never seen this before, and I can't wait to go down there and drop more money than I should on stuff I don't need.
Is there not any other famous donkey golf course logos, or they
I don't know. I can't think of anything. That's just a badass logo for everyone. For anyone that's actually still listening to this, the fieldsgolfclub.com in, where is it? LaGrange, Georgia.
Lagrange.
Check out that logo. And to Ashley, make sure you get a pro shop online ASAP.
Yeah, because you guys are going to make some money.
That logo is legit. I want a big level wear hoodie with a big, I don't know if it's a mule, donkey, whatever it is, with the putter.
You're right.
Need one of those big logo on the, oh, dude, that thing is sick.
Yeah, it's a really good one. I like it.
Very good one. Very good one.
I know. I couldn't believe when I was at Bay Hill some of the prices in that pro shop last week.
Yeah.
Just walking around, you're like, oh my gosh! But
yeah, because they know you're going to pay
it in the bag. Yep, exactly.
You're going to pay
it. No, I want it. Put it in the bag.
Yeah, you're going to pay it. You're here and you're not leaving without buying something. So
yeah.
Just don't look at the price tag and put it on the counter.
No, it's part of going to the golf course. You got to save some money for the pro shop.
It's all my write-offs. Uniform budget.
Yeah, exactly.
Budget.
What do you have going on this week? You traveling again? I know you just came back from Texas. The warm weather of Texas.
Oh God, it was so nice. No, I am home for a little bit.
Nice.
Trying to work on something either towards the end of this month, beginning of March. But I've got a lot of editing. I've got projects still kind of in the hopper from like September, October of last year that I need to knock out. Super Scratch stuff's kind of taking priority and making sure we get a bunch of things put together for the upcoming year. So we've got to finish a bunch of that stuff off. We're going to have like 9 events for Super Scratch this year. So trying to get those up and running. Try and, just keep pushing that thing along. And then, come spring, it's going to be rough. Kids lacrosse starts up here next week. So that's going to be exciting times. Just bracing for the chaos that's coming.
Ready. Yeah. We're only a couple months away from Masters, right? It's coming.
Yeah, man. Yeah. We're 2 months away. Probably almost exactly 2 months away.
Yeah.
It's
crazy.
Yeah. Got graduation party planning coming. That's fun. That's only 3 months away. Yeah. It's going to be here.
Busy time.
It's going to be here.
Few people wrote in recently asking for any more recommendations. I guess people like our recommendations for shows or movies. Been a busy time, and like I said, I've been watching Olympics. I don't know if there's any shows or movies lately you've been on.
Caught up on Hijack on Apple TV. So I think they've got two seasons. 2 seasons in. The first season was the main character on an airplane. I haven't gotten around to watching the second season yet, but that was my series that I watched going to Dallas. which was weird because I'm watching a show about a plane being
kidding.
hijacked as I'm
On the
flying on a plane. Yeah. Yeah. So but that's a good one. Mayor of Kingstown, which is a really good one on Paramount.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. And then podcast wise, I'm my normal Dateline, Sword and Scale. I don't know. Lots of stuff out there. There's no shortage of entertainment.
No, certainly. One of the ones recently my sister got me on was Fallout, which is based on the video game.
Oh yeah.
Unbelievable. So
Really?
well done. Yeah, such a good story, great acting. Like, I didn't play the video game, but if you like the show The Last of Us, which was kind of another video game one with the zombies, this one's a little bit different. It's post-apocalyptic and there's, different stuff going on. Very, very good. So I'm assuming they're going to do a third season of that one, but the second season just finished, and that's one you'll probably start and be like, okay, well, I'm watching this whole thing through.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's good.
it's a good one. Yeah, a little bit of fantasy, like a little bit of sci-fi, but also connected to like the real world and stuff like that. So I like that one. I don't like when they go too far fantasy and they start talking about different worlds and ships and things like that. But if you kind of
once I see zombies too, like once I see zombies, it's like nah.
Yeah,
but that's just me. I'm a big true story kind of guy. Like, I love anything that's kind of based on a true story, whether it's sports or like just crazy things, crime, whatever it may be. Like, I'm a sucker for that.
Yeah.
It's funny. My family makes fun of me because I'll wake up. It's my Sunday routine. I wake up, I'll come downstairs, put my pot of coffee on, and then I turn on the Smithsonian channel.
Okay.
Which you probably don't have.
No.
They have a show called Aerial America, and it's pretty old. Like, they were shooting all their stuff pre-drones. Like, they were shooting it from helicopters. But it's just like, that's really honestly what like inspired me to start flying drones on a big level, because they'll go to a different state. Like, here's Ohio from the air, and they talk about the history of the state and different landmark sites and all these. That's my show. So anyone in the States that has Smithsonian, Aerial America, you'll learn something and see some great scenery. So
your kids will make fun of you just a little bit.
Dude, oh my God, my wife makes fun of me for it. And then she'll sit down with me and she's like, that was actually really interesting. I learned something. I'm like, yeah, see, like there's some value in this.
See?
Yeah, I love it, man.
We talked about drones in the F1 movie. I just watched that on the plane coming home because it's like a 3-hour movie. Wow.
Isn't that a great movie?
Yeah. There's that one. Then I was noticing too, we were watching the Olympics the other day. They had the drone shots when they were doing speed skating. Like, they were going right in front of the speed skaters and stuff. It was really cool. So they're using the drones for everything now.
I know. Yeah, they actually just had a little segment on the drones that they were using. We were at a restaurant. I couldn't listen to it, but they look like they're like home built drones, like racing drones and stuff. So yeah, they look pretty sick.
Yeah, and they're getting smaller and smaller now too. Like, you're gonna start swatting them away like they're little bugs or something.
I know. Too many fucking hats. So, all right, dude. We'll catch you later.
All right, buddy.
See ya.
Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Your mini skirt, you're showing some skin. I think there's something going on, babe, between you and him. But you got your sunshade, you're showing your eye, that I'm catching on, babe, to your disguise. Your pretty little heartbreak. Your high heel in a pearly white gown, you're cursing my name all over my side of town. But I'll show up too drunk, get on up in his face, and we'll have it out, babe, in the